There is no question that we both agree that she is the heir to Bernie's movement. It is not AOC. It is not anybody else. If Nina gets to Congress, then it's officially on in terms of building a movement behind her and how far that can be taken, because she does take chances. And the fact that the establishment is coming after her in a way that they never came after other candidates. This is a serious race now. And not because her opponent, because again, like I said, I'm not dignifying giving even her name attention because she doesn't.
No, don't. That's ridiculous.
This is a candidate who literally has gone to national media outlets saying, I need a super PAC.
I need a super PAC stat. Get me money.
You know what that tells me? I'm not that popular where I'm running, so I need you to manufacture my popularity for me. That's what she's admitting, is that she's trying to manufacture her popularity. And that is a very big problem when you consider, as we were discussing, there are a lot of people who still fall under this guise of corporate media is going to tell me what to do, and I'm going to listen, and I'm not going to question anything. And let's face it, they're not supporting the person who's running against Nina because they think she's a wonderful candidate or because they believe.
They would have found somebody out of obscurity to run against Nina.
And this is an extremely establishment district. So having the fact that Nina is that far ahead, I think speaks to the fact that she was a very good state senator. Name recognition goes a very long way. She has deep roots within the community, and they know she's good people. Now, she may not be in the in crowd like like other people that they support, but she's got a lot of respect across a lot of different avenues.
Let's talk about Jim.
So a lot of people would agree, and maybe this was just, it was unavoidable. And maybe Bernie and his team did not do enough either to try to prevent it from happening or dealing with it at the time. But most people agree that the election swung when Clyburn endorsed Biden right before the South Carolina primary. And it just became sort of this avalanche situation. Clyburn endorses Biden. Biden crushes in South Carolina. And then it's Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Beto. I don't know who else.
But this is not the first time that we're seeing this kind of crap. This is the same kind of crap we saw when the Congressional Black Caucus endorsed Eliot Engel over Jamal Bowman.
Correct.
And when people look at someone like this, so this is someone who you would expect would be working toward the best interest of the Black community.
And not only that, but again, when we ran, we didn't get a lot of key endorsements, but the county Black Caucus did endorse Jen. And as soon as that happened, the Congressional Black Caucus endorsed Wasserman Schultz. And I have no doubt that birds of a feather flock together, and a representative like Jim Clyburn makes it very difficult. Because if you look at the responses on social media, when people talk about Jim Clyburn, it's very similar to how they talk about John Lewis. They're talking about a person that they think is still the same person that they were 60 years ago. And they're not. They are a different person now. And they have different viewpoints. They're not fighters like they once were. They're corporate captured. Jim Clyburn has taken over $1 million in big pharma money in the last decade. That's amazing. That means in 5 election cycles, he's taken an average of for a congressional race, $200,000 in just big pharma money. That's amazing.
So what you're saying is he's more concerned with big pharma than his people.
I think what doesn't get talked about enough, and this is kind of the issue that we haven't really dived into enough when it comes to somebody like Alcee Hastings, is that part of the reason why a lot of these old timers don't step away is because it's not just them. It's a cottage industry. There's no question that there could be dozens and dozens of people who rely on these elected representatives. Maybe it's in the hundreds. This is their livelihood, and this is their golden goose. And they prop up that golden goose like there's no tomorrow. And while our corrupt system suppresses and hurts tens of millions of people, there are also a lot of people who benefit from it. And they benefit mightily from it. And you better believe that, especially for people who have a substantial living based on a system that doesn't really require them to do very much or create anything of substance, you better believe they are going to fight tooth and nail to keep it exactly the way it is. Jen and I have the luxury of not relying on this podcast for a living. And that gives us the freedom to say what we have to say. But a lot of people in different corners of politics, Jim Clyburn just happens to be one of the worst because he's still considered a man of commands respect. But
not on this graphic, he doesn't.
But he is no different than anybody else. He is as corporate captured as any representative in politics. And I don't give a damn what the color of your skin is if you think that this man is helping people of color. He isn't. Not at all. 50 years ago? Yeah, probably. Not anymore.
But that is something that we find to be pretty typical amongst, like, especially the civil rights era people. They seem to have stopped fighting for civil rights.
I like to bring this up anytime somebody questions the validity and the swag, if you will, of anti-Maxine. Maxine Waters is the reason why the best progressive representative, in my opinion, in Congress today, which is Katie Porter, she is no longer on the finance committee because of Maxine Waters. She's the person who removed her. This does not get covered. It doesn't get covered. And why would it? Maxine's good for the white, comfortable liberal in the suburbs. They love to prop her up. They don't want to talk about what really goes on. People like living in a fantasy because that's what it is for a lot of people. It's a fantasy. We can't live in a fantasy anymore. You know what reality is? The 3 stories that Jordan Chariton just covered on our show. That's reality. That's what people are living with. You think Nina Turner's primary opponent, gives a damn about the people of that district, or would give a damn about them, especially if she gets to Capitol Hill? She gives a damn about her career. That's it. And let me tell you something. It is a very lucrative career to be a congressional representative. I don't think anybody on the surface, they know that it is an incredible career, but most people really don't know the type of perks that comes with it. The comped lifestyle. This is why Charlie Crist is running for governor again.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.